folks, it's been a little while since I've done a book haul, and I've got a few new books that I've got either for my birthday or the ones that I got before I left the UK. I thought today would be a great opportunity to share them with you because they're beautiful and they deserve to be shared with the world. So the first two are these, which are all about book covers from the sort of Victorian era. So we've got The Art of American book covers from 1875 to 1930 and Arts and Crafts book covers. And these were really relevant to me doing a series of book covers that were based on designs like these. It's the Harry Potter textbook series. And these are just great because they have a lot of designs in here that you can't find online. It gives you a bit more information about them as well. So this is from the Arts and Crafts one. There's quite a bit of text, quite a lot to read in there, but some very beautiful spreads. And likewise in this one here, just sort of flipping through. This one seems to have a few more visuals and less writing. But yeah, they're two books that go very well together and are both really fascinating. Next up, we have a book that is published by, or produced by Kew Gardens. And this is Marianne North, A Very Intrepid Painter. And this is the second edition of this book. So on my journeys many visits to Kew Gardens, I went to the Marianne North Gallery, which is the most amazing little gallery. It's a tiny room, really, but you walk in and it's just floor to ceiling art. And her stuff, actually, look there, it's on the end papers there. Her artwork is absolutely amazing. So she was a pioneer of kind of botanical painting, but she did it in a very artistic way and in a very, very different way to other artists of the time. And the most fascinating thing about her is that she went to so many different places. She was a truly intrepid explorer, and she would go into the jungle and she would paint these plants in the most vibrant colours. And she worked in oil paints as well, which is an incredible feat, just to think that she was there painting in this very sort of quite cumbersome medium, in that oil paint takes a long time to dry and she's carrying them through the jungle, and it's just incredible that these paintings even survived the time that she was painting them, let alone managed to survive through to today and be displayed in that gallery. So yeah, this is such a great book, and if you're at Kew Gardens, you must go to the Marianne North Gallery, unlike anything else I've ever seen. Okay, then we have this book here, which I have been eyeing up for ages and ages. The book itself is about arsenic and wallpaper in the Victorian era. What I love about this and what I find most interesting is that it's a reference book of lots of different types of wallpaper from the Victorian era. So it's got these little inserts, which are information, but the rest of it, yeah, just pages and pages of samples of wallpaper. And I've used this in my designs as a sort of reference point. It's really, really useful to me because I'm very interested in pattern. And it's divided up by colour as well. So I'm really chuffed to finally have a copy of this. But how beautiful is this in general? It's a Thames and Hudson book, so of course it's beautiful. Then something that's a little bit different. And this is not something that I thought I would ever want in my collection particularly, but then I saw some reviews of it on YouTube and thought that actually there's a lot of stuff that could be really useful to me in my practice in this. And it is The Art of Disney's Tangled. And this is one of the most beautiful art of books that I have seen. So it's not just the level of detail in this, it's the styles and particularly the colour that I find really interesting in this. But there's a whole section talking about the composition of different shots, and while this is applied to film, it's something that can apply to any visual medium. So there's so much that you can take from this, even if you're an illustrator or a painter or a graffiti artist or whatever you are. I think there's something to be gleaned from this. And that's the thing, I really like to look at different sources for my art and kind of explore different types of books. If as a book cover designer I just looked at other book cover designs and didn't look outside of that sphere, then my art would become very stagnant, and if all book cover designers did that, then the whole world of book cover design would become very sort of incestuous. And this is a way to sort of keep that diversity within your work. So another art of book is this one here, and this is Magic Colour Flair, The World of Mary Blair, who was a concept artist for Disney back when films like Peter Pan were being created and Alice in Wonderland. She had a lot to do with both of those films and others as well. And her work is, yeah, again, just spectacular. What I love about it is her use of texture, and she sort of worked in gouache and types of watercolour, and also her use of colour in general, and that's what she's very well known for, and this book does a great job of displaying that. And actually you can see a lot of influence from Mary Blair in the Tangled book, which is a very interesting relationship to see. Okay, so we've got two more. One is this one here, which I've talked about in the past, but I didn't actually have my own copy of it. So I got this one for my birthday, which was very exciting. And yeah, it's Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. And not only is this just a feminist masterpiece with lots of different stories about different artists and inventors and just women of all walks of life who've done amazing things and rebellious things in the world, but this is also a collection of different illustrators from all over the world and in so many different styles. So it's a real sort of source book of different styles. It's an absolute goldmine of wonderful stuff. So if you haven't seen this book, or if you haven't picked it up, I would highly recommend that you do, because it's just great. And finally we have another Thames and Hudson book, and this one is for a particular project. It's not just for sort of general research, although it would be good for that as well. This is all about cabinets of curiosities. I'll just flip through some of the pages so that you can see the kind of thing that this book's all about. But cabinets of curiosities were a precursor to the modern museum. I find them really fascinating because they just ended up being a real hodgepodge of all sorts of mad things that would never really go together. They were sort of mad collections of aristocratic gentlemen in sort of 1600s, 1700s, and they would be mixes of things that were found, brought back from far-flung corners of the earth, and pieces of artwork, musical instruments, taxidermy, just a real mishmash of mad stuff, and it makes for a really interesting aesthetic. And so that is why I wanted this book as a reference, and I wanted to be able to use this some of these images to create some book covers based on cabinets of curiosities. Anyway, that's my not so little stack of books for the day. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to find me elsewhere online, I'm at Holly Dunn Design on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.